All right. So, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I heard about the program actually through my manager
Yeah,
here at the office. From the time when I joined the team, he thought that this would be a great program to induct me into the space of ALM, because that is the space that I work in within the bank. And so, having come from a background within the bank, but not specifically ALM, it was a great program to induct me. That was at least his opinion at the start, and yeah, he was right. It was a great program, and from his perspective, I know that the name Murad Chaudhry is quite like uh, everyone in the team is familiar with him. So I imagine he heard about the program, having been familiar with his work, I suppose. So yeah, that is how I got into it initially.
fantastic. All right. And what would you say is the part of the program that you have found to be most valuable in your current role or in your career?
I think it's understanding. I personally am faced with the risk management of interest rate risk and liquidity risk. That's the role specific breakdown of what I do within the bank. And I think doing the BTRM program has not only shed a light on those risks and how to approach them, especially from a Basel perspective, but it just sort of builds the bigger picture as to where all of this fits into, and understanding the other side of the coin, from the treasurer perspective and risk management perspective, and just the overall banking perspective. I think it really just puts everything into perspective, in a way that is not easy to come across any kind of material that can do that for you, to actually understand both sides of the coin, if that makes any sense. So it really just brings everything together, and builds this picture. So you're not only isolated to a view of what you're doing as a risk manager, but also how that's impacting, um, just the broader scheme of everything that on how the bank operates, where the treasury fits in, where the ALM fits in, how it's structured. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's definitely helped me in more ways than one. That's for sure.
So it's given you a kind of a better understanding not only of your role, but how your role fits into the department and how um, I suppose the in terms of your organization's um, objectives and their strategies to meet those objectives, this course has helped you out. And and
Yeah.
and how has completing the BTRM influenced your professional development? I mean, if you think of it in terms of what you knew before starting the program and where you're at now, or what you then, the skill set that you acquired after you completed the program, can you describe the differences between what you didn't know and what you do know?
All right. So just coming from the perspective of things I didn't know, there were many. Like I said, the ALM space was a completely new chapter in my career, in the financial services industry. So I practically knew nothing. And having done the program, I was able to immerse myself into this world in a much more meaningful way. Just as an example, I would sit in an ALCO meeting, and you can speak about, okay, your portion, but ALCO isn't focusing on one thing. There's a lot going on in ALCO. There's a lot that happens in those meetings. There's a lot that gets covered. And if I compare myself sitting in those meetings, listening to these conversations, these matters arising, it was like not having a clue. Like, you've said your
Yeah.
part, you're moving across the room and everyone's plugging in their pieces that, like I said, forms this broader ALM community. And it was almost like, okay, I have no clue what's happening here. And then having done the BTRM, it's like, oh, okay, it just brought a lot of things into perspective. Just, for example, sitting in a meeting like that where everyone is bringing their piece to the table around, management of the bank, management decisions, presenting information on how we're managing our liquidity, our interest rate risk, our capital management, our FTP. All those conversations started becoming a lot more meaningful to me, because now I could actually understand them and put them into perspective. And that's just an example, like sitting in a boardroom, knowing nothing, being clueless, and now actually being a part of the conversation in a more meaningful way, because I could actually understand the material at hand. So yeah,
that's
I'll put it that way.
it's a brilliant example, actually. And I haven't heard that example given in these kind of testimonials. That's such a good example of what you didn't know when you're in that meeting, thinking, what on earth is going on here? And then you do the BTRM program and you have a much better understanding. So that's great that you were able to describe that so eloquently. Okay, and one more question. If you were giving advice to somebody considering the BTRM program, what would that advice be?
If I was giving advice to someone who's considering doing it, I would obviously encourage them to do it, because I think even if you're not in a Treasury specific role, maybe you're not in an ALM role, but you're in the financial services industry, you're in a bank, it really just it teaches you so much about how things work, stuff that you're not really going to get in a university, general, from a, normal university degree that is a set structure, whether you're studying economics or accounting. It's just going to teach you stuff that you're not really going to get from your average or, more conventional university courses or degrees and so forth. So, and it just really pulls everything together. And my advice to them would be to interact with the program, like attend the lectures, interact in the lectures. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if they're stupid. I find that people are very helpful. People are very forthcoming with sharing and helping. And I think if you just stay the course, once you get to the exam, which can be nerve-wracking, you'll actually find that, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was. You just got to go through it, and there's so much to learn. And I think there's an array of material that's also provided that actually helps you get through it. So yeah, I think my advice to them would be just go and do it. Like whether you're in the Treasury space or the ALM space or out of it, but you're still within the financial services sort of banking industry, I think it's valuable. I think it's very valuable for anyone to have. It really just brings in all these concepts that from various parts of finance, and brings it into one picture, which is invaluable, really. I mean, yeah.
Super. All right.
Right.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah. And encouraging others not to be so fearful when it comes to the final exam, because once you've done all the work, you should be able to handle that final exam with relative ease. I mean, it's still challenging.
Yeah.
But, that's good. That's really good to know. Listen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll talk to you soon, no doubt. All the best.
All right. No problem. You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Have a good day as well.